Assalamualaikum dan salam sejahtera semua. So dalam video ni kita akan belajar chapter 10 untuk subtopik 10.3 Sound Intensity. Okay, sound intensity. So sound intensity is defined as the rate of sound energy flow across unit area perpendicular to the direction of the sound propagation. Okay, sound intensity is defined as the rate of sound energy flow across unit area perpendicular to the direction of the sound propagation. Or the formula is energy over time over area. Okay. Since energy over time is power, so sound intensity is also equals power over area. I is the symbol of sound intensity. E is sound of energy. A is area perpendicular to the direction of sound propagation. T is time. And P is sound power. Sound intensity is a scalar quantity. And the unit is watt per square meter. Okay, watt per meter squared. A sound wave flows out from the source in all directions. Hence, it is a three-dimensional wave and is said to be a spherical wave as shown in the figure below. Okay, sound wave flow out from the source in all directions. So the shape is spherical. Consider 2 points at distance R1 and R2 from the source where power P is constant. Then sound intensity I equals power over area. Since the shape is spherical, so area for the spherical is 4 pi r squared. So for R1, okay, it is the sound intensity is I1. So I1 equals P over 4 pi R1 squared. And I2 for sound intensity for R2 is given by power equals area 2, where area 2 is 4 pi R2 squared. Okay, so from these two equations, we have this ratio. I2 over I1 equals R1 squared over R2 squared. So, equation ni kamu boleh guna untuk calculate sound intensity. Okay. Learning outcome 10.3b discuss the dependence of intensity on amplitude and distance from a point source by using graphical illustrations. Okay, so kita discuss dulu untuk amplitude. Okay, so intensity is directly proportional. Okay, intensity is directly proportional to the square of the wave amplitude. Okay, I is directly proportional to A squared. Okay, where A is amplitude of the sound wave. Okay, so the greater the amplitude, the more intense the wave. The greater the amplitude, the more intense the wave. Okay. Lagi tinggi amplitude, lagi tinggi intensity of the wave. Okay, sekarang kita nak tengok graph. So, graphical illustration adalah graph lah. Okay, so ada dua graph untuk intensity and amplitude. Okay, pertama adalah graph intensity against square of amplitude. Okay, or graph of intensity against amplitude squared. Okay, yang mana bentuk graph dia adalah straight line graph. Okay, because intensity is directly proportional to A squared. Okay, satu lagi graph adalah graph intensity against amplitude. So, graph dia adalah graph curve. Okay, bentuk curve. Okay. Okay, seterusnya kita nak tengok dependence of intensity on distance. Okay. The distance from point source of sound decreases as you get farther from the source of sound. Intensity is inversely proportional to the square of the distance from point source. Okay, so lagi jauh kamu daripada sumber bunyi, intensity akan berkurang. Okay, so I inversely proportional to R squared, where R is distance from the sound source. Okay, so daripada relationship untuk amplitude dan juga R squared tadi. Okay, jadi kita dapat satu conclusion. Sound intensity directly proportional to amplitude squared and inversely proportional to R squared. Okay, the relationship of I and R squared can be illustrated by this figure. Okay, this is sound power. Okay, where area of power equals 4 pi R squared. Sebab dia bentuk spherical, jadi area dia adalah 4 pi R squared. Jadi lagi jauh distance, okay, intensity akan decreases. Seterusnya kita nak tengok graph untuk intensity dan R. Okay, ada dua graph. Okay, pertama adalah graph I against R squared. Yang kedua adalah graph I against 1 over R squared. Okay, graph I against R squared, okay, bentuk lengkung, okay, inversely proportional, okay, dan graph untuk I against 1 over R squared adalah straight line graph. Okay, so kita akan sambung dalam video seterusnya untuk 10.4 application of standing wave. Thank you class.